Hello and good morning, dear student. Today we are at end of our syllabus. This is about tax liability of an individual, and your income tax syllabus is limited up to the calculation of tax liability of an individual. We are not talking about other persons of income tax. We are just talking about an individual. Individual means you, me, he, she, like that. Okay. So after completion of the all five heads of income from salary, income from house property, income from capital gain, income from other sources, income from business and profession. So after completion of all five source of income, we discuss about clubbing of income, we discuss about set off and carry forward of income, we discuss about deductions under section 80 for an individual, and now we are at calculation of tax liability which is payable by an individual at the end of financial year, at the end of assessment year. So dear student, I divided this chapter in two parts. Today we will discuss on the first part of the chapter, which is known as theoretical discussion or some conceptual discussion about the calculation of tax liability payable by individual, and the second part is based on some practical problem. So we will try to solve and we will try to discuss on practical problem ki how you will able to calculate tax liability of an individual payable at the end of assessment year. Okay, so this is our performa or flow chart of this chapter, and we should start our topic today with the first slide. This is tax liability of an individual. So as you know, every individual is liable to pay tax on his or her income if his or her income is exceed limit of exemption tax limit. So tax liability is calculated on the basis of your gross total income after deducting all deductions under section 80. We will able to calculate your total taxable income on which an individual is liable to pay tax. Now come to the second slide. This slide is based on general rate of income tax. Dear student, as you know, in Income Tax India 1961, our rate of income tax, our planning of income tax is based on progressive rates of income tax. It means if you have less income, you will pay less income tax. If you have more income, you will pay higher income tax. So this is your first case of income tax. First case of an individual or HUF, association of person, or BOI, or any other artificial judicial person. So when your age is less than 60, this is your first case. When your age is less than 60, you may be male assessee, you may be female assessee. So for both type of assessee, we have same rate of income tax. So for the assessment year 1920, taxable income tax rate is up to 2,50,000, it is no tax at all, and from next 2,50,000 it is 5%, next 5 lakh it is 20%, and the balancing figure of income at 30%. Okay, so dear student, these are 4 slabs of income tax available for those SSC whose age is less than 60 years. And as you can see, we have rebate under section 87A. So this rebate is explained in coming slides, and there is a health and education cess. It is also explained in coming slide. So I have also mentioned a URL over here. So this URL will be helpful for you if you want to check income tax rates for other persons of income tax. You can just click on this URL, so you will be able to get all the information regarding tax rates prescribed by Government of India on their official website. So dear student, you can use this URL. Now move towards the second category of individual. So I would like to say that individual can be divided in 3 parts on the basis of age. Age less than 60, that is our first one. Now the second one, whose age is between 60 to 80, Okay, so these individuals are called senior citizen. So in this case we have exemption limit up to 3 lakh. Up to 3 lakh there will be no tax. Next 2 lakh there will be 5%. Next 5 lakh there will be 20%, and on the balance income there will be 30%, and rest of same as previous. Third category, this category is also known as super senior citizen whose age is more than 80 years. So up to 5 lakh there is no tax. Next 5 lakh there is 20%, and on balance there is 30%. Okay, so these were tax rates about individuals, and individuals are liable to pay tax on the basis of these progressive rate of income tax. Now dear student, as you know that we discussed about some surcharge and rebate and education cess. So surcharge is levied on the amount of income tax at the following rate if total income of an assessee exceed a specified limit. Okay, so first of all, range of income. We have range of income up to rupees 50 lakh. If your income is up to rupees 50 lakh, there will be no surcharge. If your income is more than 50 lakh but less than 1 CR, there will be 10% surcharge. And if your income is more than 1 CR, there will be 15% as surcharge. Okay, so this is about surcharge, and surcharge is very important, and you should know that that surcharge shall be subject to marginal relief. So we will calculate marginal relief in case of surcharge. If there is surcharge, there will be a question of marginal relief. So how you will calculate marginal relief? It will be explained in our second part when we will talk about practical problem. So dear student, the calculation of marginal relief we will describe in our second part of the lecture. Now come to the health and education cess. This health and education cess is 4%. Okay, it is for your secondary or higher education. It is 4% and some part for health. So now it is 4%, and every individual, every person is liable to pay health and education cess. Rebate under section 87A we were talking about in our previous slides. So rebate under the rebate is available to a residence individual if his or her total income does not exceed 3,50,000. The amount of rebate shall be 100% of tax or rupees 2,500, whichever is less. Okay, so how will you adjust rebate and where you will adjust rebate? We will check it in our coming slide, and the practical use of this rebate we can check in our second part of lecture. Okay, so rebate under section 87A, health and education 4%, and surcharge. So this slide is about these three important part of calculation of tax. Now the next topic is related with the individual. It's called AMT. So full name of AMT is alternative minimum tax. This AMT provision comes in effect from assessment year 13-14. Okay, so first of all you should know the meaning of AMT. So dear student, meaning of AMT is it's a kind of minimum amount of tax which you will have to pay. Okay, so in case of companies it is called MAT, minimum alternative tax. In case of individual it is called AMT. So this meaning is here, it is something like a bookish meaning, so you can read it yourself. And AMT provisions given under section 115JC to 115JF. And this URL is also helpful to you to get the PDF about AMT. So this is about the responsibility of payment of AMT. It means when you will responsible to pay AMT. The provision of AMT will be applied to every non-corporate taxpayer who has claimed. If you are claiming deduction under section 80H to 80 RRB but not included ATP, okay, if you are claiming any deduction under section 80H to 80 RRB, you will be able to pay AMT. If you are claiming deduction under section 35 AD, you will be able to provision of AMT. Deduction under section 810 AA, then you will be able to pay AMT. Okay. Now, please read more. The provision of AMT are not applicable to a non-corporate taxpayer who has not claimed any deduction under above discussed section. Okay, if you didn't claim any deduction under the above sections, so the provision of AMT will not be applicable on you. However, following points should be kept in mind of this regard. The provision of AMT shall apply to an individual or a Hindu undivided family or an association of person or body of individual or an artificial jurisdiction person only if the adjusted total income, adjusted total, this we are going to discuss in a coming slide. If the adjusted total income of such person exceeds rupees 20 lakh. So section 115JEE says that provisions of AMT will be applicable only when the income of person exceed rupees 20 lakh. Okay, so these theoretical points are very important in prospect of theoretical questions. Now, dear student, AMT is applicable at 18.5% of adjusted total income. Okay, so surcharge and cess applicable also be levied. So first of all, we will calculate 18.5% on your adjusted total income, then we will calculate surcharge and cess. So the question is how you will calculate adjusted total income. So this photograph is about the meaning of adjusted total income. So this is our format to calculate adjusted total income. First of all, we will take taxable income of the taxpayer. Then we will add amount of deduction claim under section 80H to 80RRB except ATP. So you will add them back in your taxable income. Again add amount of deduction claim under section 35 AD as reduce the amount of depreciation allowed in the accordance with the provision of section 32. And third, add any deduction and claim under section 10 AA. Okay, so we will add all these three items again in taxable income to get adjusted total income. So all these three information will be given in your question very clearly. Don't worry about it, what are comes in 80H, 80RRB, etc, etc. So if any income related with all these section, there will be a hint in examination question paper. So this is the format to get adjusted total income. Now it's another provision about AMT. So this is about the tax credit, section 115JD. So dear student, there is a clause of tax credit. In case of any assessee has to pay AMT, suppose if you have to pay assessee, if you have to pay AMT, the excess of this AMT on the actual tax amount. So we will calculate actual tax amount and the amount of AMT. Okay, so actual tax amount will comes on the normal rate of income tax on your regular income. So the difference will be called AMT. If your AMT is more than your regular amount of tax on your regular income on your regular rate of income tax, so this difference will be called tax credit. This tax credit shall be set off in the subsequent year. How you will this? Tax credit shall be allowed for set off only in the year in which the tax payable on total income is more than the tax payable under AMT. So this point is very important. Let's read it again. Tax credit shall be allowed for set off only in the years in which tax payable on the total income is more than the tax payable under AMT. Okay, if your normal tax liability is more than the amount of tax under AMT, then only you can adjust your tax credit in coming years. Third point, tax credit shall be carried forward for a maximum of 10 assessment year from the assessment year in which the tax credit becomes allowable. Suppose in coming year your tax credit is allowable. Suppose in 1920 your tax credit is allowable. So in the coming 10 year you can adjust your this tax credit. Okay, so these were a few theoretical concepts about tax credit which are very important. So this is all about the theoretical part of AMT. We are not going to consider numerical part of the AMT calculation. But dear student, I will try to put some questions for the more clear picture of AMT. Okay. Now come to the next slide. It is about the computation of tax liability. So this is our main job. What we have to do. So after calculation of the taxable income, you will have to calculate tax by the following procedure. First of all, you have to calculate tax at 30% on your casual income. If there is any casual income in your total income, so you will calculate separate 30% tax on that income. If there is any long term income, so you will calculate 20% tax on that your long term capital gain. If there is any short term capital gain which comes under section 111A about the equity shares, so you will calculate 15% short term capital gain tax separately on them. So and tax on remaining income as a rate applicable. Okay, so after that, after deduction all these three incomes, if there some amount of income remains, so we will calculate tax on that remaining part on the basis of tax rates, tax slabs according to the age of person. Okay, so after adding all these four, we will have total tax. Out of this total tax, we will deduct rebate under section 87A. So rebate under section 87A is 100% of income tax, means this total tax. 100% of this total income tax or rupees 2500, whichever is less. So this WEL stand for whichever is less. So this rebate only will applicable if total income does not exceed rupees 3,50,000. Only it will applicable in this case when your total income is less than 350. If your income is more than 350, you are not liable to avail this rebate under section 87A. Okay. Now less marginal relief. So my dear student, there is a lacking of one important point, that is surcharge. Okay, so before deducting marginal relief, first of all we will have to calculate surcharge. So I would like to mention a change over here, that after rebate you there must be a surcharge, add surcharge if any, add surcharge if any. So after putting surcharge, we will deduct marginal relief. So there is a point should be amended, that there must be a surcharge. Okay, now let me check if I able to make it. Now I amended it, I changed it. So after rebate under section 87A, there is surcharge if your income is more than 50 lakhs, so there will be a case of surcharge. So we will surcharge if any, if your income is more than 50 lakhs or more than 1 CR, so there will be a case of surcharge. Okay, so when there is a surcharge, there will be case of marginal relief. So you will have to calculate marginal relief. How you will calculate, we will take it in the next part of the lecture. After charging marginal relief, we will add education cess as 4%, education and health cess, health and education cess. Okay, so health and education cess we will Now, right. So, health and education cess at 4%. Okay. So, we will add health and education cess 4% and we will deduct few things in order to get total amount of tax payable. So, this is TDS. It is stand for tax deduct at source. If there is any information in the question. Next, advance payment of tax, if any information in the question. And the last is tax collected at source, any information given in the question. Okay, so you, after putting all these calculation, in order to get total amount of tax payable, you will be able to get total tax liability paid by an individual. So my dear student, this is all about the computation of tax liability. This is our last chart of this slide presentation. So in our next part of the chapter, we will discuss about how you will calculate tax liability in practical question. Till then, please read and go through all these slides and listen carefully about all the provisions of tax calculations for an individual. Till then,